Welcome to another very special edition of the Neon Jazz interview series. During this episode, we had the honor of interviewing legendary jazz drummer Jimmy Cobb. Over the course of an open conversation about his life, being the last surviving member of the famed Kind of Blues session, one of the best jazz records ever recorded with the great Miles Davis, Jimmy talked about that particular recording day and what Miles taught him over the years. In addition to that, he reflected on a long, winding jazz career that has taken him all over the world and on countless stages with the best in jazz. He also talks about his latest album, which is getting rave reviews, and what is next in his legendary career. Dig it, my friends.
Yeah, Mr. Cobb.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking your time out to talk with us. We're Neon Jazz out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
First thing I want to ask, the original Mob is a wonderful album. How's that doing for you these days?
We just made another one for Smoke Records, and it was #1 on the charts for a few days.
Wonderful. Let me ask you a question. Let me go back in time a little bit. Tell me what your first jazz experience was like when you climbed on stage for the first time. What was that like?
Well, it was very exciting because I was a young boy, and what really happened, I think the really first experience I had was like in my grandfather's tobacco barn. They had, my mother was born like 30 miles south of Washington, D.C., in a place called La Plata, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
And she was raised up there, and my grandfather raised tobacco,
Yeah.
And on Saturday, they used to have like a baseball game for the neighborhood, and then they would bring drinks and have like a hold down, if that's what you want to call it.
Right on.
And so I played the first time like maybe in my grandfather's tobacco barn with a quartet with some guys from my school and a tenor player that's from Washington, D.C. His name is Buck Hill. And that was like the first jazz gig I remember playing, and I think we made about $5 a person.
Nice. How did it feel? What was it like to perform?
Oh, it was great, to just let me know that's what I wanted to do all the rest of my life.
Wonderful. So, How do you approach a gig today versus the way you approached a gig when you started out in the 1950s? What's your mentality like these days?
Well, I don't know. Try to get the best way to travel to get to it, and try to be in shape when you get there. And try to. Well, I don't know. I just lately it gets harder, but while I was doing it in my youth, it was easy. It was just a thing. I got a gig, and I got up and went to it.
Why did you choose the drums?
Well, it's just something that grabbed me, I guess. I was in a neighborhood where there was a lot of music, like it was what they call the ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
And you can walk through the ghetto and hear all kind of music.
Yeah.
So you had church music, and on the radio you could get symphonic music. There was blues guys around, and then I happened to come up right at the end of swing and the beginning of bebop. That's when I got interested in playing. So there was a lot of music going around.
Yeah.
Changing,
Absolutely.
There were a lot of big bands. Like there was about 30 big bands that you could hear. And so it was lots of music.
Absolutely.
People, that's what people did. They worked 9 to 5, came home, and on the weekend they would get their little refreshments and have parties.
Yeah.
And, do things. That was the whole system at the time.
So, what did you like to teach those around you when you played music? What was it that you wanted to give to the people that you performed with?
Well, I just wanted to feel good. I wanted to make the music sound as good as my part could be, And I wanted the people that I played with to be happy about me being there.
Right on. So speaking of teaching, you performed quite a bit with Miles Davis. What did he teach you about life and music over the years?
Well, I don't know. Miles he was a very peculiar guy. Me and him was okay because, we were just okay. And he taught me, I don't know, be on time and, play with good musicians and a lot of good things, man. I can't really think of specifically what they are right this moment, but I got a few lessons from him. He kind of brought me out in the spotlight, so I could appreciate that for him, and like that.
Right on. What about someone like Dizzy that was so hardcore and something like a new trend like bebop? What was it like to perform with someone that was really on the cutting edge of a new way of making music?
Well, it was good. Dizzy was a good man. I mean, I used to live in a building where Dizzy and his wife lived, in Elgana and Dinah, Washington, and all those folks lived in the same building, so I got to know him before I had an opportunity to play in a small band,
Yeah.
So I had met him through Dinah, Washington, way before that happened.
Right on.
So he was a nice guy, I never had any problems with him.
So over the years, you've played with a lot of people. Who is it that you really look forward to getting that phone call from and gigging with?
What do you mean, now, then, or when?
Well, any time. Anybody that would want you to perform with them. Who did you really look forward to playing with?
Well, at the time, Miles was the best jazz band in the land, in the country, in the world, let's say. And everybody that played an instrument wanted to be in Miles's band,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a variety thing to get into Miles's band. So when you have Miles call you up and ask you for the band, ask you to come in his band, that's good.
Yeah.
So I can probably say that. Well, there's a couple other things, some things that happened before that. When I first left Washington, D.C., I left with a band called Aerobostic, and I was on tour with Aerobostic band and down in Washington trio, so that was a good thing.
Yeah.
And the way I got that job is a friend of mine, his name is Cheater Betts. For his last part of his year, he went and worked about 22 years with Ella Fitzgerald. And he was from Port Chester, New York, and used to come to my town and work. And we got to be friends down there, So one time he came to town and said they needed a drummer. Would I want to go out on the road with him, So that was a highlight too, because that's the first time going on the road.
Sure.
And then another thing, I met Julian Cannonball Adderley while I was on the road doing some of that, and we became friends, him and his brother and his family. And it's a lot of good things happened over my life, man. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
With some good people.
Absolutely. So speaking of good things happening in your life, do you ever just lean back and think, man, I was a part of Kinda Blue?
Yeah, I think about it quite often because people keep asking me things about it, saying, how's it feel and what would you think in that day? I think, man, it's 50-some years ago. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what I was thinking yesterday, maybe.
Right.
So I get a lot of questions, like people think that you should know. But I try my best to answer to my best to recall, what it was like. I don't know. I usually tell people when they ask me that, I just say, well, it was just to me, it was just another ordinary record date for Miles Davis, because most of the records that I heard of Miles, I like most of them pretty good.
Yeah.
So I just figured that day we had a great record date. I mean, everybody played their buttons off, and like that, and the music was different. So I figured we had something a little different going, Then after it came out and it was playing it pretty good on the radio and on the jukeboxes and stuff, I figured we had something good, but not good enough to last as long as it has,
Yeah.
I don't think any one of us would have thought that could happen. What happened, that could happen, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Cobb, do you like being famous?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, pretty good. I like people knowing who I am, but it's not that heavy a load.
Nice. So, what's the nicest thing a fan has ever said to you?
You make me feel good the way you play the drums.
Right on. Hey, who's your favorite person in life?
Person?
Yeah.
I don't know. It had to be my mother.
Right on. So let me ask you this. In a life well spent in jazz, a jazz legend, you've been all over the place, you've made many people happy. Has jazz made the world a better place?
Yeah, it has in a lot of places. It has in a lot of places because it gets to a whole lot of remote places now that it never did before, you know.
Yeah.
And people hear it and like it, and it changes the attitude about a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
Like about other people and about other races and about other music, you know. Just a lot of things that's plus from this music.
So what makes you keep going year after year? You've had a long career. What keeps you inspired to move forward?
Well, I can say because I like to play, and I'm enjoying that I'm still here to play. You know, so like that keeps me going, and the bills.
Yeah. I hear you. So you've been a part of a lot of recording sessions. If you really just kind of close your eyes and think about the different sessions you've been involved with, what really conjures up really good memories? What session?
What session? Well, I had a lot of sessions. I made first record I made was with Earl Bostic, and it was called Flamingo, and it was a hit for him. And I was the first time out on the road, the first record I made, so that was a thrill. And then a little later on, I made a record with Dinah Washington called "For Those in Love," and I kind of like that pretty good because we had some good musicians playing on that, and we had some good arrangements by Quincy Jones when he was first getting started.
Yeah.
Writing. And I kind of like that record. You know, that was a thrill for me. We made a couple of them after that. And another one I made for Dinah. She made me the band leader, so that was thrilling. You know, a lot of things that, you know, going like that. Miles Davis, of course.
Yeah.
And then my wife, Elena, she set up a date for us in the 80s where we made recorded a record and did a video too. And that she was promoted. She had promoted, you know, I mean, and fixed up. So that did pretty good in some places.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled with that, and I was proud of her for doing it.
Right on.
So, you know, things like that.
So these days you teach quite a bit. Do you like the teaching or the playing better?
Well, I don't know. I like being around, you know, some young guys, you know, trying to show them something if they're enthusiastic about it, and I figure I can do something that would help them, you know.
Yeah.
I do it like that, you know. I don't teach beginners that much as some guys that's already been playing a little bit, so they can come and ask me and play for me and ask me what I think about their playing and what I think they should do about it, you know, and things like that. So that's basically the way that goes, you know. Might show them some things that they want to know that I do, you know, and things like that. You know, but I don't teach like, you know, really beginners like children, the rudiments and all that stuff like they would do in school.
Sure.
Different thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2009, you became an NEA Jazz Master. What was an honor like that for you to get?
Oh, wonderful, surprising, and wonderful. You know, like a lot of people have gotten them. And I never thought about it that much. I thought about it occasionally, but I hadn't thought about it that much, but when it came up, it was really surprising, and I was really thrilled about it.
Right on. So, in a legendary career that you've had, what is left for you to accomplish and do?
Well, I don't know, just try to stay healthy enough to play, till I can't play no more, and like that, and just try to be able to maintain.
Right on.
That's basically, the bottom line.
So let me ask you quickly here. We're from Kansas City. Do you have any memories of gigs here in Kansas City?
Gigs in Kansas City? No, not that many memories. I just remember being there once with Javon Jackson. We had a gig there. I don't even remember where we worked, but I remember going to the Charlie Parker Museum. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the guy that was like a roadie for us, he went up there one day and checked it out, and he came back and said, "Y'all have to go, to the Charlie Parker Museum." So that night, he went back with me and our piano player, and we went upstairs, and there was 3 old guys up there playing bird feathers.
Nice.
And, it was, them guys was older. They was older than me, but they was still into Charlie Parker music,
Yeah.
So when they came, I remember this because we often laughed about it.
Yeah.
He come in and asked our piano player, and said, "Can you play ask him about some chords?" He said, "Yeah, I can do that." So he went over and sat down at the piano. He's a great piano player, He started to play things, and they looked up and said, "That boy's a genius." So I remember that all the time. We always talk about that,
Right on. So you look back on a session like Kinda Blue and see how jazz has changed over the years. What do you think jazz is going to sound like, say, 100 years from today?
I have no idea, but I can't see it being, I can't see what else it's going to be, because of what we have here already. I can't see it getting much better than that.
Yeah.
So I can't see the music change futuristic unless it gets into some electronic stuff, that kind of change, but I don't think the real thing of the music is going to be probably what it is now, that change. That's the only shape I can see it changing is probably electronically or something like that.
Yeah.
Or some other thing like that,
Yeah. Let me ask you this. How do you want the world to remember you?
Well, it was a guy that was here, loved what he was doing, and maybe tried to contribute something and make it a little better, and left his mark, and it was a good one, and like that.
Beautiful. Mr. Cobb, thank you for your time, and thank you for all the beautiful music you've given to the world.
Okay, thank you, Joseph.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening and tuning into a very special Neon Jazz interview session, where we give you a bit of insight into the legends that have given us all that jazz. And thanks to the legendary Jimmy Cobb for his time and candor. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store, or for all things Neon Jazz, visit theneonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the music, my friends.
Neon Jazz.